Today I'm going to show you guys how to go from here to here. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the next video. I wanted to do a how to make a 3D printed lithophane in under 5 minutes video. So it's just a quick tutorial of how to get your 3D printer up and running and to make a lithophane. So you can start by going into Google, typing in 3D print rocks lithophane. It's this website right here. And once you have a picture in mind, make sure it's a JPEG. You're going to want to come to images right here, choose files. For all you Kobe Bryant fans out there, I'm going to do a Kobe Bryant picture. Click it, and it'll now upload the image to the model. And you can do a bunch of different types down here: flat, inner curve, outer curve, solid cylinder. But to be honest, the one that I think works best is the outer curve, because you're able to print it standing up, and that's when the resolution looks best, when it's going in the Z axis, and it's also able to stand on its own. So click outer curve, refresh it. Here is your model. And a couple settings you're going to want to tweak before you download it is model settings. You're going to want to come in here and change this to whatever the max size in the x-axis that you want your lithophane to be. So whatever this number is roughly what your width of the lithophane is going to be in the x-axis. So I usually like to do 200. I printed on an Ender 3 Pro, so it's a good size for that. The thickness, you're going to want to leave it 3. That's the overall thickness of the lithophane. If you make it too thick, then there won't be enough light to make it all the way through, and it won't look that good. You would need a super strong light, maybe an LED or something like that, but you don't want to go much thicker than 3 millimeters. This border right here is a border that goes around the picture. It kind of brings it all together. I like to keep that at 3 millimeters. It's a good mix between thickness and border on the picture. And the rest of this is kind of, you don't really need to touch that. And then for image settings, you just want to make sure that this is a positive image, not a negative image. So it gives it the light. The light makes the dark dark and the light light, and not reversed. And then you want to come to your model, make sure it's what you need, and then click download. That'll give you the STL file that you need to put into your slicer before it goes into the printer. So I like to use Prusa as my slicer. Open that up. Once your slicer opens up, you want to place it on the bed. Make sure it looks like it fits. Place it in the middle. And now you just want to make sure that the filament and print settings are what they need to be, because they're a little bit different than what you would normally do on a print. So I have a couple profiles set up that I'm going to run through really quick. So as far as print settings go, a couple things to note. You want to make your layer height 0.2 millimeters or something below that. You don't want to go too low, like you don't want to go to 0.15 or something like that, but 0.2 is good and right in the middle. It doesn't take too long, but the resolution is good. You want to make sure the perimeters, there's a lot of perimeters. For Prusa, it says this option sets the number of perimeters to generate for each layer. So this gives it a nice thick outline, and it's nice and sturdy and able to stand on itself. And then also you want to avoid crossing perimeters. So this will basically, when it does travel moves on your print, it'll stay out of what it has already printed, so there's no risk of knocking something down. Infill, 100% infill. You don't want any infill pattern on here or anything like that. You want it to be completely solid so the light going through looks good. For skirt and brim, I do 10 loops in a skirt height of 2 layers with 0 millimeter distance, so it's attached. It'll still come off pretty easy when you are done with the print, but this makes sure that it doesn't tip over. Support material, nothing too much here. Speed, this is important too. You want to go a little bit slower than normal. Default, I think, is 60 millimeters a second, and to avoid any jerk in the bed or anything like that, just make it 40 or 45 millimeters, and that is a good in between time it takes to print and quality. And in fillers, make it the same. In travel moves, I'd also slow that down just a little bit. And then for filament settings, I think that's about it. You also want to make sure in your printer settings that if you have any sort of mesh bed leveling going on, you enable that in the Start G code. And then for retraction, this is also super important. You want to lift the Z up a little bit. I choose, let's see here, I choose 0.25 millimeters to lift up when it retracts, so there's no possibility of it hitting the lithophane that's already being printed. And the length is 5 millimeters. That's how much it'll actually retract up out of the nozzle. So that's kind of what I found is good in 30 millimeters a second. You can kind of move these numbers up and down and experiment, but this is what I have found to give me the best results. And after that, I'm going to go to the plater here and slice. It's going to take up a good amount of time. There's a lot of detail that goes into it. Okay, so once it's done slicing, you'll get your estimated printing time. Make sure everything looks good. This is the, you can see a couple overhangs here in blue, but that shouldn't affect the print. You got your brim right here, and then the print starts and makes its way up. So there you have it. 3D printed lithophane. Sliced, and once you're done with that, export it to your computer or your SD card and print it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys liked it, please leave it a like and subscribe down below. If you guys found anything wrong with it, please let me know too. And I'd like to hear about what you guys think is best for print settings and things like that, so please leave that in the comment section below. If you guys are interested in how I actually put it up on the wall and put the LED strip on and everything like that, I can go into detail about that. And I will be posting the STL file for the housing that I used to actually mount it to the wall for the whole assembly. So I hope you guys liked it, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.